Hello everyone and welcome to How to Be a YouTuber by Sharath from Building Beautifully, who is me. You might be wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses. The sun is really bright out the blinds. These blinds in front of me, I usually keep them closed, but for lighting in this video I needed to keep them open, but it's like super bright. Anyway, this is actually my second take of this video because I really want it to be a quick video, only about 20 minutes to maybe half an hour long. But I recorded it yesterday and it ended up being 50 minutes and I wasn't even done yet. So we're going to go really quick through this. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to kind of just tell you a little bit about what it's like to be a YouTuber and kind of give you guys a bit of advice. How I actually got into YouTube. Obviously, I've talked a lot about how I love transport, of course, but I haven't never really talked as much about my love for public speaking and video editing. Like in high school, you all remember, if you're still in high school or if you used to be in high school, how nervous you get when it's time to give like a presentation, I guess. That was not me. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to give that presentation. I was that annoying kid who was like, yes, it's my turn. And yeah, so I guess starting YouTube is kind of like about that for me. It was about getting to speak to more people, getting to reach out to people and kind of get my voice heard, which I think is a big part of my identity. Audience and subscriber growth is slow at first, which I'm going to talk about a bit more later. But it really picks up as you get to learn what your audience likes and what they want. But yeah, so basically these are my current statistics, and hopefully you guys are one of those nearly 49,000 subscribers. It's probably even higher now. So yeah, I've had 6.5 million views, which is more than if everyone in Sydney watched my channel, which I'm very proud of. 500,000 watch hours, and as you can see, it was pretty linear at the start, flat line, like a very low growth, and I kind of just started to pick up, and there was a big burst in 2023, which is roughly when I left med and started took a break before starting engineering, so I was a bit more free than I am now. And I started uni about here, and it's been pretty linear since. And I think I feel pretty happy about that. It's kind of just been a straight line, which has been a bit lower pressure, I guess. What happened here? Oh, that was the Sydney Morning Herald article, which is on the next page. Yes. So I've been in the Sydney Morning Herald. This isn't really to do with being a YouTuber. I think I should give you guys context that this presentation is a presentation I gave at uni. And I've decided to digitize it. So that's kind of why some of these things might seem like a little bit odd. It's just because I was trying to give context to people at uni when I was giving this presentation. Yeah, so we're kind of going to race through. You guys already know what I make content about, but to briefly summarize: transport, urban planning. I do some abandoned infrastructure, kind of like urbex, but it's like about just transport. So it's transport urbex, I guess. And some international content, but not as much of that, I admit. And these are my most popular videos. And as you can see, there's a lot of videos about the metro. Everyone really likes the metro. That probably includes you. I've gotten recognized in public so many times, and they'll be like, "Oh, aren't you that guy who makes videos about the metro?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I am. But then I'll also be thinking I don't just make videos about the metro. So maybe watch the other stuff too. However, I am lucky to be getting recognized at all. I do know that. So one thing I pride myself on is that all of these videos have a very similar number of views. What I'm trying to say is there's no extremely top video that's so much further ahead than the rest, and then the rest are kind of lower. It's not like I fluked, I guess. I put in consistent effort into this channel, and I feel like this is proof of that. They're all pretty similar in views. It's a very linear decline. It's not there was just one video where I fluked and got most of my subscribers from, and I kind of appreciate that. I feel like it's proof to me that it's about I've got consistent quality and quantity, not just a one-off, I guess. And I pride myself on that, and that's why I feel like I am qualified to tell you guys how to be a YouTuber. So yeah, how do you start a YouTube channel? Well, literally starting is easy because you get a YouTube channel by default when you sign up to Google. But after that, it gets a little bit more tricky. Now, one thing I want to really emphasize is if you want to be a gamer YouTuber, if you want to be an influencer, like a fashion YouTuber, etc., this video is probably not going to apply to you because I am an educational YouTuber. So you're gonna probably want to watch someone else's video. I don't think I'm going to be able to help you. But if you want to be an educational YouTuber talking about geography, history, transport, any sort of thing, I feel like this is kind of for you. And on that note, having said that, I think it is about finding that niche, finding something that you are really passionate about. Because at the end of the day, YouTube can pay you money. I am going to get to that later, but it shouldn't be the primary goal because you're gonna hate yourself. You're not gonna enjoy it. You want it to be something you're going to enjoy, and a niche is good. It doesn't absolutely need to be a niche, but if you want to succeed, and I'm going to assume if you're watching a video about how to be a YouTuber, the implicit assumption is going to be that you want to gain subscribers and you want to maybe make a bit of money too. You want to find a niche. You want to find something that makes you stand out. And I feel like that's where I found success because there aren't many Sydney transport channels, and those that there are, they tend to be a lot more train spotting type of videos, not really like actually looking into the urban planning transport side of things. Usually it's just train spotting, which is fine, but that's like kind of why I have that niche, I guess. It's a bit more analytical, so you want to try and find that as well. Remember, your first few videos aren't going to do well. That, I think, is the most important thing to remember, and that's why I put it in bold. It's okay. Like, there have been exceptions. It's probably not going to do well, but that's fine because YouTube is about patience. It's about persistence. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know? So this is when I wanted to like kind of hammer home that point. I only had 461 subscribers. This video down in the bottom left only had 200 views in 2 days, which is actually not even that bad for a channel of this size because that means half my subscribers watched it. So it's like not that bad. But it is easy to be demoralized by that as well. Because it's like, oh, I put so much effort into it. I put a lot of effort into that video. Only 200 views. And it took 32 days to even crack 1,000. But let's look at it now. So here I am at 50,000 subscribers nearly. And that video has now gotten 58,000 views. Okay? So you really want to let the video cook. Okay? You don't want to be in a rush. You don't want to kind of lose steam and be like, oh, this isn't working. I'm going to give up. If you're not enjoying it, that's fine. But if you are enjoying it, but you're worried it's never going to succeed, no, you gotta persist. Okay, you gotta keep going. I think like genuinely, if you don't take away anything else from this video, persistence is really key. Persistence is so important. Now, I wanted to show you this slide. I almost like hesitated whether I should include it, but I decided I did feel like it was important to include, which is that in the early days of your channel, you want to establish a clear identity. You want to be distinct, you want to stand out, and you want to be creative. Okay? All of these creators are perfectly fine, and I don't think any of them are really trying to like make the type of content I'm doing. So like I really mean it when I say no hate to these creators at all. Like these creators are perfectly fine, but this is just me observing how many channels there are in Sydney with the word Sydney and vlogs. So Sydney train vlogs, Millennium Rail vlogs, Sydney Regional Train vlogs, Sydney Train vlogs, another one called Sydney Train Vlogs, Northern Sydney Transport Vlogs, Paul's Train Vlogs. Some of them stand out a bit better than others, but like Paul's Train Vlogs isn't as bad because it has his name in it. But you want to stand out. So if it was me, I would recommend against just putting like a train name in it. Like I think it's fine. Like again, if it's just kind of like a hobby channel, it's for fun. But I'm assuming you want to like, if you're watching this video, you want to like succeed and gain subscribers and that type of thing. In which case, try and come up with something that will really stand out and that will catch people's eye. And again, absolutely nothing against these creators. Like their content is really good. But I just wanted to say that. So continuing on, branding is key. Having a channel logo I've always found is helpful. Like I have one, obviously. It's not absolutely essential, but I do feel it helps to have a bit of a brand identity. So this is my very first video and I wanted to play it to you guys. This is my Eastwood video and you may not have actually watched it. Let's have a quick look. Yeah.
City planning is so important to the proper functioning of a city, something we often take for granted. Sydney is a beautiful city with many different suburbs, some designed beautifully, others not so well. In this series, I'm seeking to review suburbs all across Sydney, figuring out just what's right and what's wrong about the ways in which they've been built. In this series, I will be looking at 5 key areas of each suburb: city planning, traffic flow, entertainment and leisure, public transport, and pedestrian accessibility, before giving my final score. Today, we're going to be looking at Eastwood,
So just briefly,
observing its somewhat poor planning and
So,
lack of adequate road
while this idiot talks, basically, you can see that my camera quality wasn't very good. There's not, like, I'm kind of just sitting on my bed, which you can't really tell in this shot, but I am. I remember filming it. Yeah, and there's not really any footage intercutting. Also, all of it's stock footage, which again, nothing really wrong with stock footage. But it's not actually really related to the video. This is back when I thought I'd have like an intro. Like this was my intro for a few of my earlier videos, and then I cut it like after a few. So there's a lot of mistakes in this video that I don't like. Like I don't like the camera quality. I personally don't like stock footage. It's fine. Like you can use stock footage. Don't. This is not me saying don't use stock footage. I just don't like stock footage. And I'm gonna say a bit more about that later. And also, just like. There's no footage intercutting, so it's like a solid half a minute of me just talking, and there's nothing else, which is fine. If for some people, I don't like it editing wise. So if you watch my newest video, the airport line video, like try and find half a minute where it's just me on the screen. But the thing is, the reason I show you this is, yeah, there's mistakes, but something is better than nothing. You have to start somewhere. So don't be afraid to just get started. I know I'm criticizing this, but I'm only criticizing it because it's me, right? So, don't feel afraid to get started, okay? Give me a minute. I'm going to just clean my glasses. I'm going to keep talking while I clean them. But basically, you want to be as persistent as you can when you're just launching your channel. It's actually not so bright anymore. Maybe I'll just wear my normal glasses. Yeah, so you want to be as persistent as you can when uploading. You want to be trying to have a persistent schedule. I try to upload every 2 to 3 weeks if I can. It doesn't have to be that often. This is not me saying you have to upload every 2 to 3 weeks. This is me saying set yourself a goal. Even if that goal is every 2 months, that's fine. Have a goal to keep yourself accountable and to keep yourself kind of like, I guess, making the videos, and the algorithm will like that. It will reward you. And I know, like, it's sad that we have to abide by the algorithm's rules, but it's not just the algorithm. I mean, your viewers will like it more if you upload more. YouTube Shorts have also been like pretty good. They've emerged as a good way to kind of keep yourself like uploading, I guess, even when you're too busy for long form. And a lot of people are too busy for like making long form videos. So shorts are good. So maybe like you could do one video every 2 months and then do like a short every week, and so that like your audience kind of will in a way be tricked into thinking you're uploading more than you are. Maybe not tricked, but more. Then they'll be happier because they'll have seen a YouTube short by you, and that algorithm will also reward you. So basically, what is the actual process of being a YouTuber and making a YouTube video? I'm going to probably skim over this a little bit, but I guess the point of this slide is to say that I kind of do everything by myself, would you believe? Which has always surprised a few people, but I do it all. Like, I do the writing of the script, I do the editing, I do the filming, I do the uploading, all of it's by myself. Because YouTube, it does make money, which is something that always surprises people, but it doesn't make, like, enough for me to actually pay someone, and I don't really want to force someone to do it for free, right? So, yeah. I actually enjoy doing it by myself. And every YouTuber has to start at that point. So, Now, to actually illustrate what I'm talking about and how to make a YouTube video, I feel like the only way to really tell you how to be a YouTuber is to go through a case study. So I'm going to tell you about my favorite video, which is the Sydney versus Melbourne video. And that might surprise you, to be honest with you, because it's only got about like 70,000 views, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I've got like probably 30 videos that have more views than that. And it is like just kind of a bit of a random one. Like when you think about it, it's like from a year and a half ago. But I don't know why. I just really liked that video. Like I'm really happy with how it turned out. I had so much fun filming it. And I honestly think that's my favorite video. I'm just really proud of it. And I don't really, it's the gut feeling. I just like that. I just really like that video. I feel like everything just came together perfectly in that one. Like my vision came true, I guess. So what is the actual process of making a video? Well, look, There's idea conception, right? You got to actually come up with the idea. That's the easiest and hardest part, because without the idea, you can't get the ball rolling. But once you've come up with it, you can move on. Script writing can take up to 10 hours. Filming also will take up to 10 hours. Editing is the longest. That takes 20 hours. And then marketing, the video is about 2 hours. And then, yeah. So it is a long road. It takes up to over 40 hours for just one video. And that whole time, you're not making any money other than maybe if you have a Patreon or a Ko-fi or something. You're not making any money that whole time. So it's a bit scary. And again, I do want to emphasize that, like, I'm not suggesting here that you just get into YouTube for money. That's not what I'm suggesting. But once you reach the point like I've reached, where I am putting like probably 10 hours a week into YouTube, like you want to be making, I guess, you want to be getting something back for that, I guess. You don't need to be, like, you don't need to be. Nothing wrong with having a hobby, but honestly, I probably put more than 10 hours in. Maybe that's probably better. I think I am putting more than 10 hours into this channel. So here's a bit of backstory to this video. Philip Malice, you may have heard of him. Actually, you probably have heard of him by now, to be honest with you, especially if you're watching this video. He's a brilliant Melbourne YouTuber who I used to look up to when I only had 300 subscribers, and he has pretty similar content to me. So after my Sydney Morning Herald article, he reached out to me, congratulated me, and then he was like, hey, let's do a collab. And I was like, man, I'd love to. You were one of my role models when I was like a smaller YouTuber, because you used to have more subscribers than me. Like, wow, I would absolutely love to do a collab. So I agreed, and I came up with an idea, which was the Sydney versus Melbourne idea. And this is kind of like me talking about what you should actually kind of consider when you're coming up with an idea. You want to make sure your idea is marketable, okay? It's something where you can come up with a catchy thumbnail, catchy tagline, like, oh, Sydney's airport train is a rip-off, you know, or Sydney's airport train sucks, you know, something really catchy, where it's true, because Sydney's airport train does suck, so you don't necessarily want to lie, but you can bend the truth a little bit, massage the truth, I guess, and that's being clickbaity, I know, but don't be too clickbaity. Like, there's a difference between Sydney's airport train sucks and Sydney's airport train is the worst airport train in the world. Like, it's not the worst airport train in the world. It just sucks, but it's not the worst. So, you know, there's a difference. Just, you know. There's nothing wrong with being a bit clickbaity, because that is how the internet is. Like, you don't really have a choice. You got to play the game, you know. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Then there's researchable. Is there actually enough information on the video topic? You know, don't choose something where you can't find any information about it. Enjoyment is really important. Make sure you're going to enjoy making the video, okay? Otherwise, it's just going to be hell. You're not going to have fun. You might not even ever finish it if you know you're not going to enjoy it. Make sure it's concise. This is a very subjective one, but I like my videos to be less than 20 minutes long. I find it's hard to grow your audience if it's too long. So, yeah, and views aren't everything, so don't just think about views. So yeah, we agreed on the 5th of August 2023, or I sent the email on that date, so keep that date in mind. It was the 5th of August. That's when I was like, hey, let's make a video about Sydney versus Melbourne. Yeah. So script writing takes a really long time, honestly, but there is a bit of flexibility in terms of you kind of can do it whenever you're free, which is the same with most parts of this process. Like, if you are busy with a uni assignment or you're busy with work, that's a good thing with YouTube. You can kind of do it on the side. Most YouTubers that I'm friends with, like Philip, like Martin down in Melbourne, Paul, like from Transport Vlog, we all have our own full-time or part-time jobs, and YouTube's just like something we just do on the side. And that's something that's good with script writing, is you can just write the script like whenever, like after work, before work, on the weekend. Now, you probably already know kind of my structure, and that, by the way, I should probably mention, you should probably watch the Sydney versus Melbourne video before you watch all of this video, but I think that's probably a given, let's be honest. So the structure that I follow, 1 to 2 minutes, just kind of hooking the viewer in, summarizing what the video is going to be about. Then the rest of the video is kind of just dependent on the topic, but it's usually just, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, it just depends on the video, then a conclusion. Try to make sure the video is 15 to 20 minutes long. That is my recommendation. Your mileage may vary. You can do whatever. Like, I just firmly believe that shorter videos will grow your audience better. But also, look, this is a very subjective take, but I feel like the best videos are 20 minutes long. I don't know. Like it's just my opinion. If you're gonna go over 20 minutes, it feels like it might as well be 40 minutes. And if you're gonna do 40 minutes, that trust me, I've made 40-minute videos. It's so much effort. It takes forever, and that's fine. Like it's just I don't know. It's hard to keep a viewer's attention for 40 minutes, and I feel like it's just better to be concise. Just kind of get to the point, I guess. But again, I want to stress that this is my opinion, and everyone's gonna say something different. So you can do whatever you know. But that's just my take, I guess. Yeah, so script writing, look, I'm not going to really kind of dwell on this for too long. Storyboarding. If you want to storyboard, you can, but I don't find it super helpful, to be honest with you. To storyboard, like, oh, I'm going to put this shot here. I'm going to put this shot there. I'm going to put this shot here. I find it, like, tedious, honestly, because I just kind of, when I'm editing the video, I just edit. Like, I just put whatever, like, oh, I'll do this shot, I use this shot, I use that shot, you know what I mean? I don't really like, oh, I need to use this shot here. I need to use that shot there. I kind of just wing it, I guess. But that kind of comes with practice, I guess. So script writing usually takes up to 10 hours. It can take longer. I remember the Campbelltown ones took a while because, well, I guess I broke my own rule with the Georges River Expressway video. That one was pretty hard to research. But that's kind of why I had so much fun with it, because as I said in the video so many times, like no one knows about that expressway. There's no information about it online, so it was kind of worth it in that case. And it wasn't impossible to research. It's just what I mean is you don't want to choose a video that's impossible to research. Now the Sydney versus Melbourne video took about 2 to 3 weeks to write. It was quite a while, but I admit that's because it was a collab, so I had to kind of like go back and forth with Philip a little bit. Usually it is about a week or two, yeah. But it depends on how busy I am at uni as well. Now, filming. So basically, I film on my iPhone camera, or at least I used to. And everyone used to be very surprised by that. There is one exception, which is actually my newest video, the airport line video, because I just got the Sony ZV-E10 camera, which is a great camera. Highly recommend investing in a camera at some point, but don't feel like you need to have a camera to be a YouTuber. I couldn't disagree more. You can use your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever phone you have. The cameras on phones are really good these days, to the point where people honestly thought I had a camera. They didn't realize I was just using my iPhone. And yeah, there's 3 options for filming, and this is assuming you're an educational YouTuber again, as usual. You can do it all as voiceover, like literally just sit and just do it into the mic, and that's fine. It's just not, like, you have less footage to work with when you're editing, so it means you tend to have to over-rely on B-roll and stuff. Like, you can't cut to shots of your face, obviously, because, you know. But, of course, the one consideration you might want to make is if you want to get recognized, because I get recognized a lot. So, like, yeah, honestly, like 2 to 3 times a day when I'm out. So, and I don't mind, but that's me. Like, if you met me, you'd understand that I don't mind it. But I know a lot of people would hate to get recognized. So that is a consideration to make if you're like trying to make it big or whatever. If you're not and you just want to kind of chill, it's probably fine to show your face. Talking head in your room, I've done that, and I've used to do it more, like Sydney Metro analysis videos and stuff. The pros are that it is similar to just doing a voiceover with the added benefit of having more footage to play around with. Some of the cons are like the footage is just a bit more static and a bit more repetitive because it's not the whole time it's just you in your room. But it does work pretty well for some videos. Like the Sydney Metro retrospective, like I did not need to go to each metro station for that video. But my airport line video kind of felt like I had a lot more fun doing that, going to each station. I hadn't actually been to some of those stations before. Don't think I'd ever been to Green Square. I'd been to the other ones. I'd never been to International Airport technically either, because my family drive everywhere. And yeah, and then there's on location. So yeah, I like doing on location. The pros are you have more footage to play around with. So like when I do on location, I don't stay still. I usually go different places, right? So it means it's more footage and it's more interesting visually. Like, oh look, Sharath on a train. Oh, he's in Mascot Station. He's outside Green Square. Like it just looks better. Like Channel 9 News, like they don't sit at home on their computer and do it, or maybe during COVID. They go out and do it. And again, it's fine if you do sit at home, but I always just really like going out and filming it. It is time consuming though. So like obviously if you are really busy, it's like, you know, don't really worry about it. Yeah. Filming depends on the type of content you're making. So obviously certain videos you can film in person. Others maybe not. Like my footage, my topics are all about Sydney, so it really allows for on location filming. If I was to make videos about like somewhere else, not gonna work, you know. And what you can do, you can actually download an app on your phone. It's called a teleprompter. And you can use your front-facing camera and put the script on your phone, so it'll look like you've memorized the script, but it'll actually be on the screen scrolling as you go. So would recommend that. That's what I do. So I thought I would show you guys how many takes it can take to actually get like a good shot for a video.
You're from Melbourne? Don't worry about it. If you're from Melbourne, you definitely can't afford to help me. Oh, you're from Melbourne? Don't worry about it. If you're from Melbourne, you definitely can't afford to help me.
There's like 5 takes in here.
I'll do one more. Oh, you're from Melbourne? Don't worry about it. If you're from Melbourne, you definitely can't afford to help me.
This goes for a while, so you get the idea. It can take a lot. Now, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys a bit more about like the actual setup of filming, especially B-roll. So I'm going to play you guys 2 shots and tell me what you think. First one's an epic. And the second one is in Lewisham West, light rail. So yeah, I feel like it's pretty obvious. It's the bottom left one. The bottom left one is almost objectively better. Too much movement is bad. You don't want to be moving. You don't want to be moving the camera this much in one shot. I'm trying to establish epping, so a better way to have done it would have been to hold this shot for a while. Just hold the camera still there, and then hold the camera still there. But I was moving it. This is when I was really early on, like for the Carlingford line video back in like 2022. And I wasn't as good at filming yet. The focus of the shot is not what you're filming. This is B-roll, okay? So B-roll is just filler. It's the lettuce in a burger. It doesn't matter if it isn't there, but it tastes a lot better if it is, you know? You don't want to be worrying too much about it and making sure like the shot is interesting. You want to keep it still because it just also looks better. Like this is very vertigo inducing. Like I'm moving so much. This one is just a train moving. Oh, where did it go? It's just a train moving, you know? Tram, light rail, sorry, I can't believe I called that a train. And make sure you film as much footage as you can, okay? But yeah, really keep the camera still. Because when I've filmed with people, this is the biggest issue I have, is people always want to move the camera. I've filmed with a few people before, and they always want to move the camera, and that's fine. I feel like every time you start filming for the first time, you want to move the camera as much as you can, because you forget that the shot is like it's not about the shot, it's about what you're saying, okay? And you don't want to give your like audience like motion sickness. Okay, so these are the biggest like kind of investments I've made in my channel. Yeah, so that's like a $1,000 drone, $400 mics, $900 camera. Once you add up the amount of money I've given to Adobe for Premiere Pro, it's probably another 1,000, honestly. But the thing is, it's worth it. I find it worth it because I love making YouTube videos. Don't feel like you need to invest this right away. In fact, don't invest this right away. Do not go out and buy these things and think you have to have these to be a YouTuber. Biggest misconception ever. You can start off as a YouTuber with the lowest amount of equipment because it's about you. YouTube is not about the equipment you have. It's about you as a person. And you, like, you know. Here's some smaller investments I made, like a tripod and a green screen and stuff. So this is the filming on location, kind of a little bit of information.
Well, there's one aspect of the Sydney versus Melbourne debate that perhaps should be discussed a little more. Which city has better public transport? Today, I've teamed up with YouTuber Philip Malice from Melbourne.
So you got the idea.
He has a great city planning channel based in Melbourne. In this video, I'll be talking about what Sydney's public transport does better than Melbourne's.
I'm now realizing I've already been speaking for half an hour, so this video is clearly not going to be only half an hour long. Whatever. I don't actually know how I end up talking for so long. Anyway, so basically, I filmed this video, the Sydney versus Melbourne video, on the 14th, 15th, and 21st of September. That's 3 days of filming. There were a lot of shots that I needed to get at Beecroft, on the train, on the metro, Chatswood, George Street, and Barangaroo. I'm going to assume you guys watched the video again. Or if you didn't, maybe you remember it. But this video was about Sydney versus Melbourne, all of Sydney. Most of my videos are usually about one location, like the airport line was just about the airport. This one, I kind of had to go all over Sydney. So that's why I admit this one required an abnormal amount of filming. But it was really fun and really worth it. And I think that's part of what I like about the video so much, is I put so much effort into it and I feel like I had it rewarded. Barangaroo was hard. Okay, you have to remember, I filmed this in 2023. Guess what wasn't open yet? So yeah, there was no metro yet, which meant that I got off at Wynyard and had to walk 20 minutes just for this one shot. And I think there might have been another shot, like you can see there's 2 videos there. Just for those 2 shots. It was like 20, 30 seconds all the way there for 20-minute walk, but it was worth it. High investment, high return. It proves to your audience that you are dedicated. I love editing. It's one of the most fun parts of the process. So once you've filmed everything, it's like, oh, you know, you're finally like, you can see the finish line. Like, yes, I'm nearly done, but it's also the most time consuming and perhaps the hardest part, because like the editing is kind of what you did all of this for. You did it for a YouTube video, right? So I started editing this video on the 15th of October 2024. Okay, keep in mind, Philip emailed me back in like August or something. Like it was the 4th of August, I think. That was the day the article came out. And yeah, basically it takes a long time, but I mean, as I've probably said a million times, it's worth it. So when you're about to start filming, it's really good to actually catalog your footage. This is something I historically am pretty bad at. I don't usually. So you can see on the previous shot, I didn't even catalog any of this. But for this one, to be fair, that wasn't B-roll. This is all B-roll. And I've actually given them all names. The Drone Metro at Kellyville, Light Rail at Paddy's Market, Light Rail with QVB in the background, Metro at Kellyville, etc., etc. It just makes it easier for future videos. So in terms of editing, I use Adobe Premiere Pro, as I've already mentioned. It costs $22 a month for students, and I don't know how much it is if you're not a student. I also have a subscription to Envato Elements. That is $120 a year, which is much cheaper than others. Like I think Adobe is like $600 or $700 a year. So yeah, don't get that one. And I would recommend Envato. It's good for getting songs. So I've gotten a lot of my songs from Envato. I personally always use music. I just really like music. Not every YouTuber does. A lot of them don't. Like Tate Set, Philip Malice, Transport Vlog. These are my Australian competitors. None of them use music really, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's a personal preference. I just really like including music in my videos. So yeah, I'll kind of show you, I guess, like what I mean. So this is all that. You already know this song. Yeah, so that's the song I play. Oh, let's mute it. Yeah, that's the song I play at the start of my videos, as you probably all recognize. I'm sure if you are a fan of the channel. If you're not, then why are you watching? And then this is VHS Dreams. This is the one I always play at the end, and again, you probably know this one. And then, of course, there is Things Change. This is a really sad one that I play when something sad has happened. And then there's Dat Groove. This is just kind of a neutral song, like when I'm explaining something, but it's not the very start of the video. So it's like my official soundtrack, I guess, in a way. Those are the 4 examples of songs I like to use a lot. I have like 70 songs. Oh, apparently I have over 100 actually. I have over 100 songs saved. Yeah, you don't need to use music. It's really up to you. But I like to. So yeah, that is the storyboard for this video, the Sydney versus Melbourne video. It's quite a mess. Yours will probably look like that too. But, you know, you're probably doing something right if it looks terrible. So yeah, let's look at some of the shots that I edited. So you watched the clip earlier where I was doing all those takes in front of the green screen, and this is how it turned out.
Buy my kidneys. Oh, won't anyone buy my kidneys? Oh, hey there, how are you? Oh, sir, thank you so much. Please buy my kidneys, please. I'm sorry, I actually only just arrived here from Melbourne. Oh, you're from Melbourne? Don't worry about it. If you're from Melbourne, you definitely can't afford to help me. How do you figure? Come on, no one would live in Melbourne unless they couldn't afford to live in Sydney. We're pretty much a better city in every way, shape and form. Our house prices are literally so expensive that you need to sell your organs in order to live here. Is that really the flex you think it is? Just go away now. If I finally manage to sell both my kidneys today, I'll finally be able to afford that deposit on that $5 million 2 square metre half a bedroom unit 2 hours from Sydney CBD in Marsden Park.
Yeah, so you can see it like really turns out pretty well. Do a million takes, but like look how it turns out, I guess, you know? Now you don't need to be super well polished and well edited, I don't think. Like, Johnny Harris, I don't know if you guys have watched him, but oh my god, I'm not even going to get into it. He over edits his videos like crazy. Like, they're interesting, they're deeply flawed, but I'm not even going to get into that either. But oh my god, he over edits them like crazy. And you can over edit, but I feel like sometimes it's nice to just like trust that your audience, like the information alone is interesting, I guess. And yeah.
First and perhaps most crucial aspect that Sydney does better than Melbourne is the frequency of its rail services. A turn up and go rail service is one where a commuter can comfortably show up to a train station at any time and just know that their next rail service is only a few minutes away at most. In Sydney, pretty much every station gets a train in both directions every 15 minutes, no matter what time of the day or day of the week. These aren't quite turn up and go frequencies, but they're honestly not too far off. There are some stations that get lower frequencies, but even those stations will never...
Annoyingly, I actually missed quite a few stations. So I missed Arncliffe and Banks here, and then I missed Loftus to Waterfall on that map. Anyway, point being, you can just like literally just use B-roll. Like, it doesn't need to be like super flashy animations like Johnny Harris does. To be clear, I'm not if Johnny Harris's only problem with animations, I wouldn't be so strong. But he's done other like very iffy stuff. You can go. There's plenty of YouTube essays about what he's done. Graphic design. I used to use Adobe After Effects. It's just so hard to use. Honestly, if you can avoid it, avoid it. Like, it is such a hard program to use. It can be worth it. Like, I did animate my whole, like, you remember that video, like, where I did the what's next for the Sydney Metro? Like, they're gonna build this line in this year and that line in that year. But yeah, it's really hard to do that. So I try to avoid it now. So what I do instead is this.
Let's take a look at Sydney's City Circle and Melbourne's City Loop. Sydney's City Circle is pretty straightforward. All the lines go to Town Hall, all but the T4 go to Wynyard, and only the T2, T3 and T8 go to the rest.
So you can see I didn't actually animate any of those. Those are just 3 separate frames, right? And I just use the ding sound. And viewers probably don't really care, to be honest with you.
T3 and T8 go to the rest.
The T2 generally goes anti-clockwise via the city circle inner track, while the T8 generally goes clockwise via the city circle outer track. The T3 alternates between these two tracks.
This is annoying. I actually got this wrong. I explained this a lot better in my new video.
The T3 alternates between these two tracks.
The biggest problem here, therefore, is that 3 lines must share 2 tracks, which limits capacity. However, this is being resolved with the Sydney Metro City and South West, which will redirect...
Basically, like, they're just separate frames, right? Like, I didn't animate anything. To be fair, if you know how to edit video, like edit animations, go ahead. I'm just trying to save you a bit of time. Like, this is fine. Like, these graphics look beautiful, I think. Like, yeah. So I reckon it's easier to do that. Plug yourself. You need to make sure you're plugging yourself even from the start. Even now, I'm always like, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, it probably annoys viewers, but every YouTuber does it. So, you know, as I said, don't hate the player, hate the game. Like, you kind of need to get subscribers, and the only way you get subscribers is if you actually remind your viewers. Like, they're like, I know young people generally we will be pretty like diligent with subscribing, but like I reckon not everyone is super tech savvy. They may genuinely not remember to subscribe unless you tell them to subscribe, because like they may not be as experienced with the app, right? So tell your viewers to subscribe. I think it's really important. Marketing your video is really important. Okay, you want to make sure your thumbnails are really good. I usually spend 2 hours making a perfect thumbnail. It takes a while. This thumbnail is my Sydney versus Melbourne one, and yeah, it's not my best thumbnail. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, this one is like genuinely like, it's one of my favorite videos, but it's not one of my favorite thumbnails. But that's okay. It still did the trick, and the video still did well. These, however, are my more like these are my favorite thumbnails. I really like the Metro one. It has a great background picture. Like, oh my god, that's such a good background picture. I was so happy when I got that shot. When I was filming that shot, I was like, holy crap, that is definitely going to be the thumbnail shot. It's also got a nice and catchy tagline, like, Australia's best railway is about to open. Again, am I lying a bit? Maybe a little bit, but also, like, I think the Sydney Metro City is probably Australia's best railway, so I'm not really lying. It is a bit hyperbolic, but I don't know which one is better. So, and also it's got a good visual representation of the top. Like, you know what the video is going to be about looking at that. And the Hunter thumbnail was pretty good as well, like the Wojak faces. Like, it's a bit clickbaity, obviously, but it's all true. It could be Australia's weirdest train line, because, like, those platforms are really short, and I don't know if we really have those in other cities. Like, to be clear, I didn't say it is Australia's weirdest train line, because there definitely are many other contenders. I reckon the Stony Point line in Melbourne is probably, is that what it's called? I think that one's definitely a contender as well. And yeah, make sure you schedule your videos, of course. I always try to have my videos come out at about 4:30 p.m. That is when my airport line video is going to come out. But the day varies. Like, I don't really care about what day. Like, I'm not like, every Tuesday I'm going to release it, or every Monday. I just release it whatever day works for me. Genuinely, most of the time, I just release it on the day where I have time to actually sit at my computer. And, like, for example, I couldn't release it last night because I went to a concert last night. I got recognized at it, which was kind of funny. Or I couldn't release it on, like, Wednesday night because I was doing an assignment. So, like, et cetera, right? I could release it tonight, which is Saturday. It's Saturday right now because, like, you know, I have time. So, why do I choose 4:30? Well, I figure it's the time that kids get home from school. It's just before the evening work rush. So my whole tactic is the kids get home from school, they watch it, they get it popping off in the algorithm, and then what happens is that workers come home and they watch it on the train, and they get it popping off even more. So it's like a double pop-off. It's like the double peak hour effect, I guess. Try and market your video to your audience. I used to tweet and post it on Insta. Obviously, who uses Twitter anymore? And also Instagram. Like, I don't tell them it's going to come out. I usually just post it afterwards, you know? So I'll announce that when the video comes out, I'll put it on Twitter. I don't do that anymore, actually. I'll put it on Instagram as a story, and then I'll ping my whole Discord. Yeah. And these are my pings and tweets. So this is the Discord. This is the Discord ping. It didn't actually work that time, but now I just do it manually because I don't know how to. And then this is Twitter. So yeah. I do think it's good to reply to comments. Okay. So once your video's out, gauge how people are finding it. You know, take their criticism on board. If they're just haters, ignore them. Like, oh, I hate you. Oh, you're Pakistani. I have someone who keeps calling me Pakistani in the comments. Just ignore them. They're just trying to get a reaction. I would advise against replying to haters. I have still never actually looked at the comments on my immigration video because that was a very controversial video. Do I regret making it? No. But I probably shouldn't have because it's really hard to convince anyone. Like, pretty much most people have already made up their mind on that. So I was a bit pointless. I think it's better to just focus. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Point is, don't reply to haters because they just want to get a reaction out of you. If it's genuine criticism, and to be fair, I shouldn't have brought up the immigration video because they probably did have genuine criticism. I just, like, I'm worried that some of it's probably not genuine criticism and some of it they are probably hating on me. And so what I do is I separate myself from that. I'm like, these people are probably going to accuse me of being a developer shill. Everyone, like, every time I make a housing video, they blame me for being a developer shill. I'm not a developer shill. Anyway, like, I'm getting a bit off topic, but I do actually recommend don't get hooked on your comments and don't worry about, like, haters, because they're going to be there anyway. Like, don't reply to them. if you're worried that a video is going to be really controversial, don't even read the comments. Like, I didn't read the immigration comments because I know they're probably going to hurt me. I'm probably going to feel really hurt by them. And it's not going to change anything. I've already said what I needed to say, so I ignored them. But if it's a more positive video like this one, this is just the City versus Melbourne. Like, no one's really going to be annoyed at the video. I just read the comments and I try to reply. I don't really do it anymore, but I did used to. I might do it for the airport link video. It's also really important to have a link tree, by the way. So definitely would recommend making one of those. So this is my link tree. So I think I forgot to mention one thing about comments, which is it's a myth that it's apparently good for community engagement. So that's another reason if you want to like do well in the algorithm. Apparently YouTube likes it more if you comment. I don't know if that's true. So let's actually do the math on how long this video took me to make. Philip and I agreed on the video on the 5th of August, 2023. Sorry, that's the wrong date. But the video came out on the 23rd of October, 2023. So it took nearly 3 months to get this video out. And you don't get paid that whole time, unless you count Patreon, Ko-fi, whatever. But the video itself isn't making money. It's a bit scary if you're trying to take YouTube as a bit of a... I guess where I am with YouTube is like, it's a half serious thing. Like, it's half just for fun, but it is half like, I put so much time into it that I do like, and like, it's kind of a bit about the money. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not just about the money, but it is a bit. I put so much time into it that it would be like, yeah. Point being, it can be a bit scary, but that's YouTube, and I think it's worth it. Now here is another recommendation. Don't worry too much about the views. I literally deleted YouTube Studio off my phone because I just used to check it too much. So now I just check it on my computer instead, which I probably shouldn't do, but I don't check it as much as I used to. So like this gray arrow, any YouTuber will tell you it gives you PTSD. It's terrible. It will be like telling you, oh, this video is down on usual. Less people are clicking it than usual. Less people are viewing it for less than usual. This is why don't look. Just don't look. Or you can look, but don't look too much is what I'm trying to say. And if you do look, just don't take it seriously, because your next video will do well. And if that video doesn't do well, your next video will do well. Or if that one doesn't, your next one will. The only way your next video doesn't do well, the only way that you never do well is if you stop, if you give up, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you'll have duds, but you'll also have diamonds. Okay, you got to keep trying. So how did my Melbourne video actually perform? It has nearly been 50 minutes. I swear I wanted this to be a half an hour long video. Anyway, well, it performed pretty well actually. And yeah, you're probably going to see I'm covering up my revenue. Not for long. I'm actually about to reveal to you how much this video made, so don't worry. But basically, in the first week, I have kind of my own goals for what I want my video to perform. If it only gets a bit over 10,000 views, then it's like, it could have done better. To be fair, I have 50,000 subscribers. So for some of you who probably don't have as many subscribers, like 200, 300, like obviously adjust your goals accordingly. 20,000 views, I'm like, yeah, that's really good. I'm pretty happy with that. 30,000 is like absolutely well done in 1 week. 50,000 is like insane. 80,000 has only happened once with the Sydney Metro, like what's coming for the Sydney Metro video last year. That was like insane. That got like 60,000 views on 1 day, but that's unusual. And this video also gained me 157 subscribers in the first week, which is pretty good. Now, this is the part where it's almost like maybe I should just leave this out of the video, but I've decided to include it for 2 reasons. Number one, transparency. Like, I want you guys to know how much I'm making on YouTube. Like, I shouldn't feel like I need to keep that a secret. And number two, I don't really think many people are going to watch this anyway, because Building Beautifully Extra doesn't seem to have many viewers yet. However, maybe people will watch it in the future. I don't know. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about how much money I make on YouTube. YouTube makes more than people think. A lot of people ask me, oh, hey, Sharath, how much do you make on YouTube? Does YouTube pay you? And I'm like, yeah, it pays me. I'm putting way too much time into this to not get paid. Just so you understand, like when I keep talking about how much time I'm putting in as much time as a part-time job. So to be putting in that much time, you want to be getting paid, like, to be honest with you. So AdSense is the name for the money that YouTube collects from ads. So let's put in your guesses at home, whoever's watching. This is how many views since it was published in October 2033. Sorry, it was 60,000 when I made this PowerPoint. I updated the picture. I haven't updated the text. because I remember I did this for uni, right? So 71,000 views, about 7.2 thousand watch hours. So that's like watching it for 300 days straight, which is insane. Sorry, what I mean is if one person watched it non-stop for 300 days, it would take them Sorry, I'm saying this wrong. Okay. 7,200 hours equals if one person watched my video non-stop for 300 days. Then they would watch it as much as everyone has watched it. And again, 387 subscribers. How much money has this video made? Drum roll. It has made nearly $900, so 880, which I think we can all agree is pretty good, right? I'm pretty happy with that. That is a very good amount of money. It is in the top 50%, but it's still quite far from my highest earning video. One of the best parts of YouTube is the passive income. I know I probably sound like a really annoying like stockbroker right now, but it is true. This video made me $163 in 2024, even though it came out in 2023. So it's like kind of cool. Like you put in all that effort and energy. I put that energy in for 3 months, but that video then made me money for the next 12 months. And I know I want to stress that YouTube isn't about money, but it isn't not about money either. And also keep in mind, $880 is good, but I told you that it takes about 40 hours to make a video. So that's only about $22 an hour, which is pretty low. But I'm still happy with it. Like I am still very happy about that. And also keep in mind that that's as of now. It will keep making money for years to come. So it's $22 now per hour, but it'll be more eventually. There are other sources of income, okay? Sponsorships. Take sponsorships. Don't feel guilty, okay? Because here's the thing, like, your viewers will understand, okay? You need to support yourself. We live in Australia. I live in Sydney, most expensive city in the world, or one of the most. Like, they understand that we are all just trying to make it, right? And the sponsorship, we're not going to force our viewers to buy anything. Just don't get sponsored by BetterHelp and you'll be fine. Patreon and Ko-fi, like, again, don't feel bad about asking people to support your work. I've read some pretty nasty comments. I think some YouTuber started a Patreon and then someone commented like, "Oh, how dare you? You know, blah blah blah. Why are you being so greedy?" But that's not true. Like, you're not being greedy. You're still putting out content for free, and people will watch it, and for free. And if they want to support you, if they're better off, because the people who support me on Ko-fi are usually like white collar workers. They're older, they're well off, they can afford to support me, and because they support me, they're kind of allowing me to make free content for those who can't support me, and I think that's a beautiful model, genuinely. People with disposable income are paying me money so that I can make videos for free for people who don't have disposable income, and I think that is, like, you know, I think that's pretty great. Also, you can make merch. Don't make merch when you only have like 1,000 subscribers. Make it when you're bigger and like you actually are a bit of a, like, your brand identity actually means something, I guess. But don't get too hung up on money. Do not go into YouTube just to make money. Obviously, I make money now off it, and as you see, is a decent amount. Like, I'm not making nothing. That's the first time I've ever revealed how much I make, actually. Like, I don't do it just for the money, obviously. Like, that would be ridiculous. And I would like to think you guys can tell, like, I have a lot of fun with this. Like, this is not just about money for me. I genuinely am very passionate about this channel. And I would never want it to be just a business. And that's a big part. It's a big part of why I don't do YouTube full time, because I think if I did, it would feel like a business. It'd feel like I'm trying to put food on the table. But instead, I'm out here trying to get a civil engineering degree so I can work as an engineer full time in a few years. And the YouTube channel is kind of just like on the side. Doing that while I'm at uni. Probably will keep doing it as an engineer, but being an engineer is, well, it's just like there's less pressure on you because you're getting paid by a company, not by yourself, you know? And again, you can do full-time YouTube if you want, but it sounds very stressful for me. The end game of YouTubing is to have fun. I kind of already went over this. So I'm probably not going to go over that again, so. I was going to do questions, but this video is already 55 minutes long, so I maybe might do a part 2, actually. I'll see, but I'm hoping that, like, this video... Oh, for context, if you're watching this video, I didn't give context. I actually put out a Google form asking people to ask me questions that I would answer in the video, and I was going to do it now, but I've been talking for 55 minutes. I don't want this video to be an hour long. I literally was talking about how I want videos to be 20 minutes long earlier, and I'm such a hypocrite. This is 55 minutes long. But this is not going on my main channel, so that's why I'm breaking the rule. It's going on my alt channel, which is kind of a bit more of a junk channel where I just put stuff like, that sounds insulting to people I put on my junk channel. I don't mean like it's like a more like a rougher, like less edited channel. I mean, like this, I'm not editing this video. I'm just gonna upload it. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope I answered your questions. Well, I didn't literally answer your question. I hope I answered what you wanted to know about being a YouTuber. But do put comments in the comments. Like, do put your questions in the comments or put feedback or whatever, because I might make a part 2. No guarantees, but I might make a part 2 where I actually answer those questions from the Google form, and I'll answer any questions from the comments. And if there's anything I didn't address, let me know. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.